I'm Van Sebastian here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge, Season 10, Episode 18. We'll be talking with Sophie Haeder and discussing her novel, The Land Within. So let's get to know our guest. Born in 1992, Sophie Haeder lives in the picturesque countryside of Bavaria, Germany, where she embraces her nerdy nature alongside her roles as a wife and a mother of a little girl. With a lifelong passion for fantasy encompassing everything from fairies to witches to trolls, she has found solace in imaginative play since childhood. Serving as a game master for her Dungeons and Dragons group. Yes!
Yeah.
It brings her immense joy, and this love of storytelling eventually led her to writing, a natural progression from her professional career as a content marketing manager. She loves fantasy and art, and her writing combines all of her interests into one. That's why she does all the artwork for her books herself, including the covers, the maps, and every other illustration in her book. So if you play D&D yourself, like I do, like Sophie does, you may recognize some of the mechanics of magic and world building that follow this kind of vibe. But of course, it is absolutely not necessary to know anything about D&D to enjoy her book. Sophie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's so great to be here.
Our pleasure. So your bio covers the first question I like to ask, and that is
Yeah.
where did that decision to go from being a creative person in a group of people, because verbal storytelling is very different than writing. So when did
Yeah.
you decide to embark on the lonely craft of putting words down and actually putting the story into books?
Yeah, it really came from us playing Dungeons and Dragons together, and there was this idea that sparked from our home games, and it just haunted me until I put words on a page and created my own world, and then it just spiraled from there, I guess. Yeah. So
The
it
stories
was
don't
really
stop coming.
Yeah, really. It was daunting. And then it was a real pleasure to get into that kind of craft because I've been a creative before all my life, but not in that literal kind of way. So it was a new thing and it was exciting for me.
That's fantastic. So, if I were to be at a book event and I were to see The Land Within on a table in front of you and walk up to you and say, "What is this book about?" What would you tell me?
I would say it is about an isolated world where elemental magic rules, and there's also some darkness rising from underneath the mountains, and it stirs up all of the story and the land. And yeah, the continent is isolated because of an elemental sphere that is fed by elemental magic, of course. And yeah, all of the souls are trapped within that bubble and they can't get out. So they are doomed to be reborn. So it taps into the narrative of what would it be like to be reborn into a magical world where you can have magical abilities or not. So not everyone is blessed with it
So
or cursed,
I have,
depending on how you take it.
right? I have two questions about that.
Yeah,
One, do they remember their past lives?
they do. There's actually a school where they learn how to remember things from your past life, but not
Mm,
everyone has the capacity to take all of the information in. Some are like haunted or cursed by that information to relive past lives over and over again because we all know it's not always pleasant.
hmm.
Yeah.
So my second question is are the elemental mages the ruling class?
Yes. There are two parts in the land. One is Medine, and there is an elemental rule. There's a government ruled by elementals. And on the other side, there is like a little group of islands, and they have their own government, and they more rely on enchantments and wizardcraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the actual characters that you follow through this world.
Yes, so it's a multi POV story. So you're going to follow several different characters to get a deeper insight into their story and their emotions and whatever they experience. And the main characters are Avala. She is an air sorceress, and she is haunted by the voices and the memories in her head. She wasn't able to fully, yeah, accept what was in her past lives. And then we have Garen, her friend, and he will undergo a major transformation during the book. No spoilers.
Okay.
Um, and then there's Sinaf. He's a rebel who wants to change the regime in Madine and stop the souls from being reborn. And there are sacrifices as well. So he is the man who wants to stop all of it, whatever the cost may be.
Mm,
And then at last there's Kima. She's a witty, quirky wizard who creates enchanted things, and she lives in Karas, in Jazat, in the capital. Yeah.
gotcha. So do they meet and work together, or is it literally told separate locations point of view?
Mm. Yeah, they start separate. So Garen and Avala are um, in the
That's right.
same
You said
guild.
they were
Yeah,
friends, yeah.
they were friends. They are together in the beginning, but they get separated then.
Okay.
And so throughout the book, they all kind of merge together to one point, and then that is also the point of like escalation, I guess, where all of the story gets really tied together and
Okay.
everything's going to make more sense. So it's really, yeah, suspenseful, and there's a lot of things going on. It's action packed.
Love it. And it's part of a series, book one, right?
Yes, it's book one. Book two is in the making.
Excellent.
Yes.
So it's pitched as romantasy. For people who've never heard that term before, what does the genre title
Mm.
mean?
So for me, romantasy is a bit of like, it's so trendy at the moment that it's really narrowed down to just two people being in love in a fantasy setting.
Okay.
But for me, it's more of, let's make things more interesting. It's not just about the story at all, but it's more complex. It's about the characters and their emotions and their connections with each other.
Okay.
So there's a lot of these connections in the book that are love in all its forms, not just plain girl meets boy kind of love.
Hmm.
So it's more complex than that. And that's it for me as well, to like, yeah, give it a new twist on the whole romantasy thing.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and my understanding was that romantasy is very welcoming and supportive of all types of, LGBTQ relations in all the
Yes.
permutations. Was that important for you when you wrote this book too?
Yes, it's very important for me to be inclusive. I mean, a fantasy world gives you the playground for everything, for every race, color, horns, green skin, whatever. And I
Tails.
think it entails whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. And I think it's very important to have that in the emotional part as well. So you have relationships in all its forms, in all its spectrum.
Right.
Yeah.
And you developed a relationship like that in your book, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Um, I don't want to give too much spoilers and all of
Okay.
this. Um, there are sparks,
Okay.
definitely. There's also some sexy bits. And there will definitely be more of LGBTQI plus love in second book as well, even more tapping into the romantic part
Nice.
where something is going to grow. Yes. So I don't want to spoil it too much.
No,
That's
absolutely
fair.
not. But yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds really cool.
Did you
Yes.
do you have questions, Baz?
Just what when well, one, I hope it doesn't evolve into like Stranger Things where your game becomes reality. But I just wanted to say that I really love that how you kind of fell into putting this down on paper and it taking a
Mm,
life of its own. I think what a lot of our listeners and our viewers who are not writers don't understand how that triggers for us as creators. And sometimes it almost feels like the path is being made for you and you're just trying to
mm.
catch up and stay on it. Is that how you felt when you started to write this?
Yes, definitely. And also with the characters, I had pretty clear idea of who they were and what they liked and disliked and everything about that from the start. And then it just spiraled. And yeah, I think one of my favorite characters is Kima, and she's just so complex and funny. She's kind of the comedy relief in some situations. And she, yeah, has some romantic feelings for another character throughout the book. And that is going to grow even to book 2. And we will see how this is going to turn out.
Lovely.
Yeah,
So I have to ask, because I also am a game master, are any of your characters based on your players' characters?
no.
Okay.
No, they are not. They're also not based on people I know or something like that. Maybe some quirks or
Sure.
stuff like that
Sure.
that you put into them
Hmm.
unconsciously, but not intentionally like, well, this character is so cool, I want to put it in my book. That didn't
Right.
happen. Yeah.
Right. So is there anything about the land within that you want people to know that we didn't think to ask?
I think what is really important about this book, even though it's very fast paced and driven and there's a lot of like battles and difficulties going on, it's also a very deep and emotional journey. And some of my readers told me, wow, I finished the book and I had to like digest everything I read. It was
That's
just
what you want.
a
Yeah.
roller coaster of emotion. So it's not just epic fantasy with dragons and battles and stuff, but it's also very intentionally difficult in the emotions they undergo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Excellent.
if it's not about the people,
Yeah, what
why
is it
tell the
about?
story? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for our get to know you questions?
Yes.
Take it away, Bez.
All right. Well, just a quick pause here to say if you enjoy the content that we're creating here, please like, subscribe, do all the things that most channels ask you to do. But in addition, there are costs that are involved with this. So if you want to help support what we're doing here, creating a repository, having people like Sophie on to talk about their passions in creating content for our queer community, please consider dropping us a monthly donation at patreon.com/rope podcast, or we have full reactions to TV series and films that have queer content in them. You can definitely help us out by either doing the monthly donation to gain access to those full reactions, or you can buy individual TV episodes for $3 a pop, or full movie reactions for $5 a pop. So more ways to help us support us. You can even throw us some change you find lying around the house. Go to buymeacoffee.com/rope podcast and help us with a one-time donation. Every little bit helps. We have costs with the producing this show and keeping things running. So whatever you can do, we humbly accept it and say thank you very much for it. Also, new announcement. We have just started a Twitch channel. Yes. I'm not a gamer, but Vance is. He will be trying to be on there on Sundays and doing some gaming. And so you can definitely check him out there doing that. I'm going to be on Wednesdays and Fridays. I will post a schedule up on that channel so people can see when I'll be in to talk about news and politics and social things that affect our community as well as the larger community with things that are going on in this very, very difficult political climate. So, with that said, let's get back to the interview. Okay, this is our moving into the weeds, kind of finding things about you that our listeners and viewers may find very interesting. So, in that vein, can you name a movie that was better than the book?
This is a very controversial one, I think. But
Okay.
to me, it's Lord of the Rings. I love the
Ah,
Really?
books. Yeah, I love the books, but it's just, I'm a sucker for a fast pace, and that is absolutely not Tolkien.
yeah, no, that's not Tolkien.
I love the world building and the characters, but the pacing is difficult for me.
Hmm.
And I just love the movies. I've seen them 100 times. Every time I got sick as a teenager, I watched them over again.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I'm that way about Anne Rice. I love her books, I
Yeah.
love her characters, but sometimes she gets caught up in the weapon wharf
Yeah.
of a curtain, and you're like, "Girl, move on. Let's go. Let's go."
Yeah.
We
what
got a
is going
story to
on
tell.
here? Yeah.
Okay, still talking about the curtains. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Well, which fictional character would you like to be friends with?
Definitely Nina Zenek from the Goethe-verse of Liber. She's just such a fun character, and she loves food. We can share our deep love for food and
There you
waffle,
go. Uh-huh.
and she's just such a strong, inspiring woman. Yeah, I
All
would love
right.
to take a cup of coffee and a waffle with her.
There you
So,
go. There you go. Okay, what is the most fascinating fact that you know?
hmm. This was or is something I'm practicing daily. It's most people act from their ego. Everything they think, they say, or do is shaped by it. So realizing this helped me a lot to take things not on a personal level because it's really just about them. They are catering their ego and not benefiting you at all. So this fact helps me a lot as a creative and an overthinker to just take a step back and be distant from some people. That's not, you don't take criticism or anything from people. It's just be careful of who you're talking to and what are
Right.
their
Learn
intentions
to
about
divorce
it.
yourself from
Yeah.
those kind. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I write about perceptions, which is along those same lines because we all have our perceptions, but
Yeah.
and we filter everything we do through those perceptions, but we don't even acknowledge that we have them. We just
Yeah.
act on them, you know. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. That's a great one.
Yes.
Okay. What was your favorite subject in school?
I think you could have guessed that one. It was English and art.
Mm,
Yes.
excellent. Okay. Well, before making a telephone call, do you rehearse what you're going to say?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes even a week or two before,
Oh,
if I know
wow.
it already. Yeah, I'm an overthinker. I'm in my head a lot, so yeah, I think about these things.
Okay, okay. Well, what current event or causes are you passionate about?
Yeah, it's the same thing in Germany as it is for you guys in the US at the
Mm,
moment. There's a lot of hatred going on, and
the
I
AFD
really
and
don't
all.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
no?
Yeah. I protested about or for the LGBTQI community a number of months back when there was like a new polling in Germany as well for our government. And it has always been something dear to my heart to support the community. I've been on the CSD since I'm an adult. I have friends and family that are part of the community, and I think it's now even more important than ever to just stand up as a straight person as well to protect the rights and to fight for love so everyone can choose who they want to be with and not be judged or yeah, even yeah,
Okay, I'm right there with you.
persecuted. Yeah.
Right there with you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would that be?
I've been to Japan and it was amazing, and I would love to go back there someday. But at the moment, I'm completely obsessed with Scotland, and we are going to go there on vacation this August. So I'm
Oh,
very
Nice.
excited
lovely.
about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. Well, who, if anyone, was your first celebrity crush?
It was Ryan Phillip as Sebastian from Cruel Intentions. Side note, I was also obsessed with the soundtrack of the film for a very long time. So yeah, he was
Okay.
Nice.
real cutie.
All right. Well, what's your personal favorite recipe that you make, and are you willing to share that with us?
I would love to share that with
She's all, come
you.
to the kitchen now.
Yeah. I'm cooking and baking a lot actually, and I love to do banana bread with my daughter. It's
Oh,
our go-to. We can do it together, and
yes,
yeah,
that's wonderful. I love that. I love when you encourage the youth to get involved in
yeah,
that kind of thing
Hmm.
because it often plants the seed that actually carries them forward in their life, and they become kind of enamored with making things and being creative and stuff. And I did that with my granddaughter, and she, now she just loves to put things together, and she's very creative with it all. So yeah, it's a good thing to do that with you.
Yeah.
Well, you made it through the list. Bravo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bravo. All right, so you teased that the book 2 is coming. Is there anything you can tell us about it? And we promise not to hold you to it. We know it's still under creation.
So I'm in the middle of the first edit of book 2, which is planned for release January 2026.
Nice.
Ah.
New Year book.
New Year book. Yes, and I can now reveal the title of the second book for the first time here.
Sweet. What is it?
Yes, it's The Lurking Demon.
Oh.
Ooh.
There's
Dun,
the darkness
dun,
you hinted
dun.
at.
Da, da, da. And there will be even more infos about that on my Instagram channel over the next few weeks, as well as the cover release for book 2.
Nice.
Yes.
So folks can follow you on Instagram at Sophie Haeder.
Yes. Exactly.
Wonderful. And you also have a website where they can follow you, sophiehaeder.com.
Yeah, they can also subscribe to my newsletter.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you want folks to know?
Yeah, I am now part of Kindle Unlimited. So you can actually, if you're subscribed to Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. And I also have some really nice new covers going
Look
on
at those.
Lovely.
for the paperback and hardcover.
Beautiful.
So they are part of the Three Arcane Isles series of The Land Within. So take a peek.
Beautiful.
Love that.
Do you have any final words of wisdom?
Final words of wisdom. Just be true to yourself and keep on loving fantasy as I do, because it's a wonderful space to be in.
And it's an amazing escape. Amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
especially in times of these.
All right. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to Sophie Haeder for joining us. Sophie, thank you so very much.
Thank you too.
It's been our pleasure. We at Written on the Edge are proud to introduce you to new media by all content creators who play in the queer space. So if you enjoy learning about new artists or hearing our thoughts on entertainment media, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. The show was produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our disclaimers, links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, visit www.roguepodcast.com. Tune in next week for your queer media fix.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Oh, what's that? Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.